Unmute. Okay, Megan. Okay, guys. So those of you who don't know Megan, she's a leader in our business, 100K affiliate, and hopefully a super affiliate here in the next few months, of course. But she's been with us since day one of our launch. Phenomenal leaders. I just want to hand it back to introduction, of course. All right, so what I want to do is first bring Josh on. Josh, hopefully you're available right now. I know he's driving to the office, but hopefully he's already there now.
I'm here. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can kind of hear you-ish. So since we have his time right now, we're going to address international recruiting first, and then we're going to kind of go back into other types of recruiting after. So now that we have Josh on, Josh, can you give us, generally, everybody knows you as CEO, not everybody knows you as networker. So can you give us a little bit of your background, your experience, the teams you've built internationally, and sort of what it takes to recruit into international markets? Because I know everybody's kind of sitting on this. We are into these new markets. We don't all have all the information yet, of course, but how can these people expand their teams into the new countries we're going into? And then if you want to add anything as far as what kind of going to, what products are going to be there, and how they can really get their foot in the door.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Take it away.
Okay. Yeah, so in my first network marketing company that I was in, I actually had a lot of success internationally, and we struggled in the U.S. It was very difficult to find people in the U.S. that were, motivated network marketers. And of course there were some, but when we went international, our business absolutely blew up. And there were a couple markets in particular that we did really well in. Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa, those three markets in Africa, we wound up building an organization of over 50,000. In Europe, just in Italy alone, we had an organization of about 15,000 people spread into a lot of other countries. So I realized pretty quickly that, in network marketing, there's a lot of potential as you go international, because you find a lot of very serious entrepreneurs. And, these are individuals that, are A-level elite networkers that work the business nonstop. They do big events. They know how to fill rooms with tons of people. So it's always really exciting when you're able to bring in somebody like that in a different country. And, there's different ways to go about, doing it. In that company, a lot of the markets that we were able to expand into was through my organization. So sometimes I had leaders in the US, but I would start tap rooting my leadership, and I would start asking the question, who do you know in Ghana? Who do you know in Europe? Who do you know in, whatever country we were expanding into? Because if it's not on your team's radar, then they're not going to be trying to find people in those markets. And you'd be surprised, like, Jen, you probably know this better than I do, but what's it called? The 6 degrees of separation, where, someone who knows someone who knows someone, and through 6 people, they'll probably know somebody in one of those markets. So, if you don't have personal contacts in any of these countries that we're expanding into, a lot of times, you can just start taprooting through, your organization. But you do have to really poll your leadership and start asking serious questions about, hey, this is where the company's expanding to. There's a ton of potential in this market. Who do you know in this market? And more importantly, who in your team, can you reach out to where we can start getting some leadership in this country? So is a great way to start. If you've already got a team in My Daily Choice, start asking those questions to your team. And that's certainly one way to do it. You can also, headhunt and find networkers or, serious entrepreneurs in these markets as well. You can do that through social media, getting into the right circles, getting into the right groups. You can look at, if you're a student of the industry, you can look at who are the top performers in the industry in various countries and start making connections with those individuals. So, you know, part of being a network marketer is it's not just being able to recruit, it's building relationships. And if you can build relationships with them through attraction marketing, and you having success as an affiliate, eventually, you know, if you maintain those relationships effectively, eventually you're going to have people that
So I have
want
a
to
question.
join you. So that's a little bit how to do it.
So,
Yeah,
because I
go
know
ahead.
we're all wondering, what's the difference when we are recruiting internationally versus here in the States? Like, because I know there's some challenges. Sometimes there's a language barrier. Obviously, there's probably not a lot we can do about that. But as far as like products available, website, what are some of the differences that we should be aware of when we are going into these markets?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, you know, product availability is always uh, a differentiator in these markets. Like in the U.S., there's always money because, you know, in the U.S., it's arguably, you know, the most dialed in us. Like we ship product 2 to 3 days across, you know, all 50 states. You know, there's the website in the right language. You know, like all of the tools are available in the U.S. market. So it's kind of ironic that's the hardest market to build when all the specs are here and all the tools are here. But in the international markets, you know, we go through company registrations, product registrations, and sometimes it could be just a handful of products that are available. And eventually, over time, more products get added to the market. In some countries, there's different payment options, and in some countries, there's different ways for them to receive their commissions as well. So knowing that information is important because you're going to be asked those questions if you're enrolling people in those countries. So as an example, in Ghana, which is a market where we have an office, we have staff, we have a country manager. In Ghana, they can walk into a GT Bank, pay in Ghana CD, and then walk into the office with their receipt and pick up product. So just having that information is important because if you're talking to somebody in Ghana and they say, hey, how do I pay into the business? You want to be able to tell them, well, you know, you can go to the GT Bank and you can pay into the bank and then come into the office and then pick up your product. Now, fortunately, that's all automated through the website. So you can direct them to the web, you know, to your website, and they place their order online and they still, you know, it'll tell them how much CDs they have to deposit, where to deposit it. All of that information is on the checkout for your prospects, but it's important to have a general idea of you know how it works in each market so that you have the knowledge going out there. And in Nigeria, it's the same thing. They can pay into the Guaranteed Trust Bank in Naira, and you know that's one payment option. In South Africa, we have the ability for them to do an instant EFT from their South African bank. So they can go online and it'll draft right from their South African bank in South African Rand. In Kenya, they can pay in Kenya shillings, you know, through our charter bank there. So in the 4 markets that were officially registered in Africa, there's local bank payment options available. So it's important to know that as you're talking to people in Africa. In Europe, you know, we're getting ready to launch a new logistics company, and what's exciting is there's going to be more products available coming in Europe, and forthcoming in the next couple of days. And I believe that Europe has great potential. There's a lot of very serious networkers in Europe. In fact, one of our top leaders just went over there. Europe. He went to Budapest, to Italy, to Poland, to Slovakia, Hungary, and there were anywhere from 500 people, 1,500 people in each room at those events. And that's, like, we did roadshow events here. Imagine, going to a country for the first time without really any promotion and having 1,500 people in the room. There's a lot of potential in the international markets. So it's important to, to have that information. In Canada, we launched our Mantra essential oils in Canada, and also our hair care product in Canada. So if you know people in Canada, it's a great time to reach out to them and get them on Mantra and get them on the hair care products as well. So there's a lot of potential in these markets, and as we grow as a company, we're always looking at expanding into more countries. But you want to have the information so that as you're talking to prospects or tap rooting or reaching out to leadership, you're able to tell them, how they can enroll in these different country products are available. And to make that easier, we are going to be launching an interactive map in the back office where affiliates can hover over it, and it'll show which products are available and the different payment options and payout options. That's not ready yet because there's a lot of markets that we're working on right now. But once that is available, that will be in the back office. But hopefully that answered part of your question.
Yeah,
Dan.
definitely. I just think there's some confusion because we go into markets and then there's, there's questions about every market every single time. And so once we get that interactive map, it'll help a lot of people be able to quickly grow and expand. Any news on new markets and that we can share with anybody now that we're working on?
Well, we're working on a lot of markets. The thing with international is it's a very different process than here in the US. Like I know I'm watching the chats pop up and it's like, when are you guys going here? How about here? And I just want you guys to understand that to effectively launch an international market, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to the company to just get products registered or get a company registration. Like we're looking at a country in Asia right now, it's $1 million to get an MLM license there. So it's not very simple to just start selling products in a different country. There's a lot that we go through. There's a lot of due diligence. It requires literally every department here at corporate: customer service, logistics, compliance, you name it. Every department has to have their professional when we go into a country. But as we go into these different markets, it is a really exciting opportunity. One market in particular that I'm really excited about is the Latin America markets. As you guys saw, we launched Spanish subtitles on our pre-enrollee tour video yesterday. So those are now live, which is really cool because we've never had subtitles on our presentation. So now any prospect that you send into the tour, they'll be able to go on Spanish and with Spanish subtitles. As I'm talking, the Spanish subtitles are popping. Today we're launching French subtitles. So for all of the Canadians, that may French, we're going to have French subtitles on the videos as well. We're also launching Italian because Italy is a very big market that we're excited about in Europe. So we're going to have Italian subtitles. Taiwan is another country we're excited about that we think there's a lot. So Mandarin, Mandarin subs on the videos. So, as we grow, you're going to see more translations and more information come out about the international markets. But all I really say in terms of advice is, the best way to get into these markets is you have to network. You're not asking the question, who do you know in these markets? You're going to be able to find people there. It's not automatically going to just show up on your doorstep. You have to network. You have to taproot your team. You have to bring in new blood. If the team that you have doesn't know anybody, well, then you got to start recruiting. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal for if your team's burnt out and it's like, I don't have any contacts anywhere. You need to start, getting some new people in the system. So it's all an exciting process, and all I would say is with international, just be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. All it takes is one really serious person to come in and knock it out of the park. And in my first company, I personally enrolled 300 people in that company, and three out of 300 led me to 50,000. Think about that. That's 1%. 1% of my per enrollments led me to an organization of 50,000 plus people. So if you only have 3 people enrolled or 5 people enrolled or 10 people enrolled, the chances of you getting into, tens of thousands of people internationally is very, go through quite a few contacts and network and taproot as much as you can for it to really blow up. So that would be my advice.
Great. Thank you so much for hopping on. I know you have another meeting you have to get to, but thanks for answering some of those questions for us. I'm going to go ahead and now shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk more about just recruiting in general and some things you guys can do aside from, internationally specific. But again, thanks, Josh, for your time, for hopping on. You're free to go now if you'd like to continue on your day. We appreciate your time.
Your time, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Okay, you guys, this is a profession. Network marketing is a profession. It is just, it's not like a job, because it's not a job. It's a business, but it's a profession. And I feel like a lot of us forget that this is something that you have to learn. You have to put the time in, you have to, it takes 10,000 hours to make somebody an expert at anything. 10,000 hours is about 10 years. And I know a lot of us join network marketing because our rent's late, our car payment's due, everything's crumbling around us and we need a way out. That's usually when people join network marketing, right? Because they need a plan B, because their plan A is not working. That's usually when people are looking to start a business. It's usually not people that are on the up in their life. Everything's going perfect. And they're like, I think I'm going to just start a business because I have nothing else to do. Like, it's usually not like that. It's usually because we're in a mode of desperation in some aspect of our life. Maybe our retirement plan didn't pan out the way we thought it would be. Maybe our student loans are now due and our career path wasn't exactly the way we thought it would be, right? We all have life that happens that eventually leads us to network marketing. And there's a lot of us in this industry now. It's a 170 million plus industry. It's humongous. And every 12 seconds, I think it is, somebody is starting a new business, at least in the US and around the world as well. It's a very, very common thing, which is good for us because it's going to be less awkward to talk to other people about network marketing as it's more common now. But this is a profession. And when I say that, I mean, do you know your craft? Because if you don't know your craft, it's going to be more difficult for you to recruit other people because you're not going to have the skill set to go after either your warm market or cold market or prospecting in general when you're going out and trying to recruit. So it all starts with us as individuals first, right? So whether you're brand new, whether you've been here for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we can all learn something at any time. This profession is constantly evolving, and something that really understand this business is from watching Josh. Okay, straight up, I was probably a D or C level networker. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, watch this training that I just posted in from Tim Sales. I just posted that training. In fact, I'll just put it in this chat here as well so you guys have it. Watch this training when you have the time, obviously not right this second, but it kind of clears things up a little bit as far as the types of networkers that are out there, the types of people that we are trying to get into our organization. So this is a profession. And with that being said, let me ask you guys, do you know who's who in this industry? Because if you're brand new, you probably don't know who's who. If you don't know the top networkers in this industry yet, then you should probably have that information. You should probably know that information. You should probably know who's who in this industry. And from watching Josh, he's like a freaking encyclopedia when it comes to network marketing. If you can say any company, any leader, any comp plan, and he can tell you all the facts, instantly. I don't know how his brain is wired like that, but it's just he studies the craft in and out. He created is because he studied hundreds of comp plans. He took out all the trash out of the comp plan and created something completely unique and different. Okay, so, but do we know who's who? When I talk to Josh, he's like, this person's joining, this person's joining, this person, and I've never heard of these people, and they've got teams of 300,000 plus people. He's like, this is a leader over at this company and this company, and they've been in the industry 20 years, they've been in this company for 30 years, and he knows exactly who's who, what their team size is like, what struggles they're having right now, what they're currently getting paid. Like, he knows the ins and outs. And we all do better as networkers by really learning our craft. Part of learning our craft is knowing who's who in this industry. That's important because eventually these are people that you're going to try to recruit yourself. You're going to try to get in these circles. You're going to try to build relationships with these people. And of course, if you're new, the way it usually works is if you're a beginner, you're going after your warm market, right? That's just your friends and that's just a little circle of people that you know in your current life. And these people are going to be very close to the level that you're currently at, okay? So if you're a D level networker or F level networker, maybe you're brand new and you're not very good at building relationships. In fact, you damage really, and then you try to go into network marketing, you understand, and you can't understand why it's not working out. So if you are starting at a D or an F, and then you're recruiting all Ds and Fs because that's your natural group that's surrounding you currently right now, then that's going to be what your business is made up of. Does that make sense? Now, as you grow in your life and in your business, you may start networking with more C's and B's because now you've been in it a little bit longer. You've done personal development a little bit longer, right? You've read more books, you've been to more trainings, you've studied more leader on things, you've taken more notes, you've failed more times, so you have more lessons under your belt. So as you're progressing, now your circle starts changing as well. You know, something that happens every single time I mentor somebody, this is what happens. You guys ready? They start telling me, I just don't fit in with my current friends anymore. And my circle is getting smaller and smaller. And I don't know why. I'm losing friends, it seems like. And it's interesting that this phenomenon happens. And that's because as you grow as a person, you outgrow your current warm market. You outgrow your list of people. And maybe some of these people are still in your business, or maybe not. Maybe they quit by now or whatever. But as you grow, you begin to outgrow people and you start getting into different circles. You start getting into different grades of people, right? And this is the journey that we all go on, especially in network marketing, because personal development is absolutely attached to the growth of yourself and your business, right? So what does that mean? It means as you grow yourself as a person, you're also going to have to upgrade your circle every time you upgrade yourself. So if 2 years ago you joined HempWorks and you built and you got to 6 figures, you got to 7 maybe figures, you got to 5 figures, or whatever you beat your personal best, maybe 4 figures, right? That was me at some point. All I wanted to do was just make $2,000 a month. That's all I wanted. Like if I did that, I covered my rent, my car, covered everything, I was good to go. Like that's all I needed. When I was 18 years old, I just wanted a $10 an hour job. That's all I needed. I would have been happy with that. And then as I became in my 20s, I wanted a $15 an hour job, right? And we make these upgrades in our life, and sometimes these happen without us even realizing it. So why I say this is because you cannot use the same skills or tactics that you use to get where you are right now. It won't get you there. What got you here won't get you there. So if we're not consistently upgrading ourselves, our training, our leadership style, as well as the training that we're not only just taking in but also giving out, because training can't just be one way. You cannot be the only person on your team that's training, right? It can't just all be on your upline as well. You have to be the trainer as well. If you have to learn it, you have to rehearse it, you have to practice it. If you can't give a presentation, yes, we have a nice marketing system now where you don't even need to. But if you can't stand in front of a room and give a presentation without peeing your pants, you know what you need to do. That's something you need to learn. I can tell you that the A and B level networkers that are looking to come into this business are looking for the leader that's standing in front of the room. They're looking for the leader that's not afraid to grow, that's not afraid to rehearse their training, that's not afraid to outgrow themselves, right? Okay, so do you know who's who in this industry? If you don't, then now you know what you need to do. You need to do your homework. You need to study the people that are moving and shaking in this industry, because you want to be in those circles. How you get in those circles? You go to those events. You go to the Eric Worre events. You study business for home, where all the networkers are listed. Like, your list is already built for you. You have to get in the circle. Do you know the competition out there? That's my next question. Do you know the competition out there? Or do you only know about your company? Of course, we always say just focus on our deal, right? But not so much anymore. I think it's important to know what else is out there. I mean, how can you have the advantage over others if you don't know what else is out there? We constantly at corporate are always evaluating other companies because we want to stay ahead, because we're number one now and we want to stay number one now or forever, right? That's the deal. When we see other people launching this or that or doing this, we evaluate every move other people are making. It's called competitive analysis. So do you know the competition that's out there? Do you know their comp plan? Do you know what leaders are that are running that deal? If you haven't started having these thoughts and these questions, or started answering these questions for yourself, you know what you need to do, because this is something that networkers that have been around for a long time, this is what they do. And this is something that's never taught. This is something that we've just kind of learned on our own, and we just kind of do it, but we don't ever really talk about it. You have to know the competition, what's out there. And the reason why is because when you're talking to another networker, right? You need to know what we have to offer and why it's better than what they have currently. And not to say like my deal is better than yours, because not everybody's going to be receptive to that conversation. But you have to be prepared for when, oh, I'm in this deal because we have this, this, and this. We've got that too, and we've got this. You're not missing anything if you come over here. In fact, your pay is going to go up when you come here because we pay almost double the industry standard every single time. I mean, you have to know how to beat that competition. Do you know the advantage that you have? Not just your company. We can preach about the company all day long. Advantage as a leader. We've got almost 1 million people in our business. We may actually already be there. I don't know. 1 million customers and affiliates combined. Okay. What's the advantage of somebody joining you versus Megan versus me versus Aaron Parker versus Robert Hollis versus Kristen and Travis Butler versus the brand new person that just joined yesterday? What's the advantage? You have to think about yourself as a brand, okay? Yourself. What makes you a better leader than out there? Why would they pick you out of the whole lineup of leadership they can join? You have to ask yourself that question. And if you can't answer that question, and if you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm not a Megan, or I'm not an Aaron, I'm not a Jenna, I'm not a Josh, well, then what are you going to do to become to get on that level? What are you going to do to your, what do you have to do? What kind of training do you need? What kind of confidence do you need? What kind of personal development do you need in order to feel like you are on that level and that you can compete with the best of them? There was people that I was afraid to approach early on in my network marketing career, my chicken list, right? And I always felt like there's no way I could approach them because they're a better leader than me. Why would they join me if they're already more advanced than I am? I had to make a conscious decision to become a better leader. I had to decide that I was going to study everything they were doing, and then I was going to outdo it. I was going to outdo them. We have to do that ourselves in order to become better choices for people when we are recruiting. Okay? Do you practice? Do you practice? What do I mean by that? Do you know your company information inside and out? Do you know your product information inside and out? Now, I know a lot of us teach like, I don't know, but here's a video. Point, right? Yes, of course, it is easy, especially in the beginning when you're first in and you're hot and you got your list and you're fired up and you don't want to waste a lot of time on answering questions and you just want to point to a video. Absolutely, I agree with that 1000%. But as we're developing as leaders and as we're developing as professionals in this industry, it's important to know your products. It's important to know, be able to answer questions about the comp plan. You don't have to be an expert, okay? But you have to be able to answer questions. And you have to be able to give a presentation on the spot. You have to be able to give a training on the spot. How can you do that if you're not studying, if you're not practicing, if you're not rehearsing? Okay, because these elite networkers, these A-level networkers, B-level networkers, they're rehearsing, they're practicing until they get it right. They're practicing so that they could hop on a call anytime without any preparation. Some of us get so nervous and sweaty that we're like, I got to do a team training. I got to do a Facebook. Oh my God, like I'm going to hyperventilate because what am I going to say? And we clam up, we freak out, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't end well for us, right? We have to get to the point in our professional careers as network marketers where those things don't bother us anymore, where we can give a presentation on the spot, where we can answer questions on the spot, where we can be that source of information people need and are looking for. Okay, because that's part of this deal. That's part of being good at network marketing. And you have to put in this time and effort if you want to recruit up. If you want to be a better recruiter, you have to be a better networker, period. So, because you can go out there and try to recruit people all day long, but if you're not progressing yourself, it's going to be hard every single time. It's going to be a challenge. Okay, so questions you can ask yourself: how much time are you spending on your craft? This is your business now. Maybe your part-time business, might be your full-time business, but how much time are you putting into your own education? Because if you were going to be a doctor, you'd have to put in 8+ years before you are able to do the job, right? If you are a Navy SEAL, whatever, you're going to have to go through the basic training, the advanced training, the training that comes after that. Like if you're going to be a person in the Army, you got to do all the training, right, before you can go out and do your job. Well, it's the same thing with network marketing. Now, we can recruit people without any information whatsoever, just based on like energy and hype. Yes, that works, but it's not sustainable, because at some point the skills are going to have to come into play if you want to have consistent results that aren't just dependent on hype and momentum. Okay, so how's your level of training, and what are you putting in your head? What are you putting in your head right now? This is a big one, because we are all easily influenced, right, by the media, by the radio, by what's on a you know, what are we listening to? Are you listening to Tim Sales trainings? Are you listening to, you know, Eric Ward trainings? Are you listening to Ray Higdon trainings? What is in your headphones right now? Are you listening to books that maybe can help you become a better networker? Are you spending time learning those skills, or following the leaders who have documented success? Or are you putting your brain on something else completely that's not going to help you grow? You know, there's people that, like, even my sons included, okay, they can tell me any statistic, any fact about the NBA or the NFL. I don't know what their deal is, but my son, who's 9 years old, he can tell me the height of a basketball player, any of them. Like, he can, just from seeing a photo of them, you don't even need to see the back or anything. He can tell you the name, their height, their whole career stats. He can tell me how many shots they made in their last game. Insane, right? That's the kind of stuff he's putting in his head that he can just spit out. What are you putting in your head right now? Some people know way more about sports than they need to know. We spend time memorizing things that are useless. You need to spend time on things that are going to help advance your career here. People ask me all the time, how can you give trainings? like this. Like, because I'm constantly putting things in my head so that I can regurgitate it out to my team and to people that follow me. If I didn't take in new information, I would not be able to ever spit out anything that's worth following or listening to. So what is in your head right now? You need to do an evaluation of that. You need to evaluate what's going in, because that's exactly what's going to be coming now. So in the beginning of recruiting, right, I said we were going to our warm market. Well, actually, when you get to your intermediate level of networking, now you start your prospecting, you're getting into your cold markets. Maybe you're talking to strangers now, and this is like new for you, right? As an advanced level networker, now you're networking with other networkers, right? And maybe these are like B and C level networkers. And then as an elite networker, you're recruiting teams of people. That is ideally where we all want to end up, where you only have 13 personals, but you've got a team of 100,000 plus, right? That's where you want to end up, right? In the beginning, it's all about getting those 1 and 2Z sales, right? First, you're just going after customers, and then you're like, okay, I got a whole bunch of customers, and I need some affiliates. So then we go after people and try to convince them to be affiliates. That's usually how it ends up. It's customers turned affiliates. You try to convince them into becoming a business owner, and they start that journey, but that's a slow road, right? So then we start going after network marketers that have some experience, because we're tired of training all new people, right? So we go after these network marketers, and they can bring a few people here and there because they know how to network and they're bringing their warm markets. But ultimately, the goal is to network with people that already have huge teams. That's the end goal, where you're meeting these people that have 300,000 people on their team, 200,000 people on their team, been in network marketing for 30 plus years. That's the goal. Now, when we're recruiting, there's 4 things that have to happen. The first thing that has to happen, and this is going to tell you a lot about like how the kind of people that you're networking with. For instance, when I first started network marketing, I always had the pyramid scheme conversation. It was like every single person I talked to, I had to explain what network marketing was to them. That was exhausting, right? Then I realized I was fishing in the wrong pond. So I needed to start fishing in a different pond because I was tired of having that conversation. But in the beginning, it's very much like that for people. So the first step is you have to stop the noise, right? This is the steps of recruiting and making network marketing work. Stop the noise. You got to address the misinformation. It's not a Ponzi. It's not a pyramid. You got to prove that it's ethical, right? Okay. 2 is understanding network marketing. You have to know, what is network marketing? Does it work? How the compensation plan works. 3, how to build network marketing. What comes first? What to say? How to follow up? What is your daily method of operation? Now we're acting more like professionals, right? What do you do every single day when you log into your computer? Is it scrolling Facebook, or you actually have a plan of attack? You have a strategy, right? These are the things, how to build network marketing. And then number 4 is leadership. Leadership. Somebody's just said, can you do a leadership training? There's already a leadership training scheduled in days with Todd Falcone and Josh. So if you want that training, that's coming up in the end of this month. But number 4 is leadership. This is going to maybe shock some of you guys, but if you just know training is in there. There are no bad teams, there's only bad leaders. So if you're one of the leaders that are like, my team's just not growing, my team's just not producing, my team, they're all complaining, they're all doing this. There's no bad teams. There's only bad leaders, okay? Because the speed of the team is the speed of the leader. So when you're complaining about your team, you're really just complaining about the reflection of yourself. You understand that? It is up to us to inspire and motivate and train and grow our teams. Only bad leaders. So it is our job as leaders to set the standard. I was pretty good at this. Megan can tell you, I set the standard for my team. I was ruthless. Like, it was, this is what we're doing. Okay. Here's the homework. I gave people very step-by-step action items. And, you know, I don't want any negativity at all. Like, if you give me any crap whatsoever, I'm deleting you from my group because I don't want to deal with it right now. Because I'm focused on growth here. I'm not focused on making you feel better about whatever problems you're having right now. So we have to set the standard. What is the standard of your team right now? Is the standard, so, you know, where people are all collaborating, complaining together, all creating drama, like wasting a bunch of time? Is that the standard? Or is the standard, no, we're professionals now. We are growing this thing. We are going to hold ourselves to accountability every single day when we log on to the computer every single day, or when we go out about our days and we're prospecting, right? What's the standard? You set the standard as the leader. And the goal is to not only just set the standard, but get all the people on your team to that standard, right? That's what leaders do. Leadership is about getting people to that standard. And then the goal is to raise the standard and then repeat, right? So there's no bad teams, there's only bad leaders. We're setting the standard, getting our reps and the people on our team to that standard, we're raising the standard, and then we're repeating. These are the stages of recruiting and network marketing, right? First, we're stopping the noise. We're addressing and understanding what network marketing is. These new people that are coming on board. 3 is, if you're not currently training anybody in your team and you're just only plugging them into service, it's great to plug into your upline at first. But at some point, you're going to have to take responsibility and become the leader that you're maybe afraid to become. There's no way to succeed in this deal without becoming a leader. And maybe you thought it was going to be easier, but it's not. You have to raise your own standards for yourself if you want other people to do it too. So I know that was kind of like a little bit different for recruiting, but I mean, recruiting is nothing more than getting out there and networking every single day. That's what it is. I mean, when you talk to the people that have hit a significant rank, ask them how many people they talk to on a daily basis, and then look at how many people you've talked to on a daily basis. If your results are different, it's probably because your effort has been different as well. When I was building and like grinding hundreds of people, because I wanted to eat dinner. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I had to put food on the table. Like I had kids to feed. I had bills to pay. I could not build this business. And if you're comfortable and not in that situation, then maybe you should put yourself into the mindset of something that will motivate you to push through every single day. At first, you may have to be off balance in your life, okay? And this is the part that sucks. This is the part we all struggle with. Your life may be out of balance at first. And what I'm talking about is family life and, versus business life. Because when you have a job, all you have to do is go to work 9 to 5 and then you're off work, right? You got to come home at the end of the day, take your shoes off, drop your briefcase, and you get to be home. That's great. That's one of the benefits of having a job, I guess, right? But when you're running a business, it doesn't close right away. Okay, you don't get to choose your hours right away. You don't get to say I'm only going to work from 9 to 2 or 10 to 11 and then expect $1 million a month salary. It doesn't work like that, because you have to accommodate all the people that need to come into your business. And sometimes that's all hours of the day, all hours of the night, and it's a hustle. Some of us don't want to know that. Some of us don't want to hear that. My kids will tell you that when I was in full blast recruiting mode, and I'm about to do that again soon, like I'm getting real close. Josh is already getting in the trenches now. You guys better watch out, because we're both coming together. We're going to be doing Zoom calls together. It's about to get crazy, okay? But my kids will tell you, for the 2 years I was focused on HempWorks straight, like literally day and day, all night. It was a lot of takeout. It was a lot of, I can't make it. It was a lot of, let's try to get it done on the weekend because I'm still working. My kids will tell you that. And they're okay now. Do you think they're okay now? They live in a house with a freaking basketball basketball court. They're okay now, right? But I had to sacrifice my balance. I had to sacrifice that for a while. And some of us beat ourselves up over that. But you have to know that it's an investment into your future. And that if you are dedicated and you're motivated and you have decided that you're going to prospect until you hit the levels that you need to hit, the ranks that you need to hit, it's gonna be a little crazy for. But after you build the business that you dreamed of, and you look back on the results that you've built for your family, and you realize that you've built a legacy, not only for your children, but for their children, it was worth it. It was 1000% worth it. Because what happens with people in the job world who are putting a little bit of effort in every single day for 50 years, they have to continue to work beyond all of that. Yeah, I got to see my parents after work every single day, but they're still working now, right? I got to see, I mean, some of them are retired now, but not really. You know what I'm saying? We're still trying to figure that out. Do you want to be a little bit out of balance now, where it's a little bit insane, where your life is going to be nuts for the next 2 to 5 years, and then have total time and money freedom? Or where you have to go in full recruiting mode and go insane, your work ethic has to be above and beyond, you got to work harder than everybody else? Or do you want to just put a little effort every single day? A little bit of effort is going to give you a little bit of results, but honestly, I think that's 100 million times more painful than just sucking it up, getting it done, building this thing, and then having your peace. So I'm going to wrap that up with that message. I hope that made some sense for you guys today. I want to actually open it up for the next 5 to 10 minutes Q&A. Megan, is that cool with you if we do a little Q&A?
Yes, of course.
Because I know there's like a bunch of people with their hands raised. I don't know. I will address any questions you guys have now and before we wrap this up completely. So let me see. You guys want to talk? Okay. If you want to talk, raise your hand in the chat. I will allow you to talk. I got Cindy Collins up first. Go ahead, Cindy. If you didn't mean to raise your hand, you off, but Cindy Collinsworth, you are able to talk. No, okay, she's probably doing laundry or something. Oh, where's she at? Are you in here, Cindy? Can you hear us? Cindy? Cindy, you had your hand raised? Okay, maybe not. All right, I'm gonna go to the next. All right, who do we got next? Sharon, hopefully you're ready. You have your hand raised. I'm gonna let you talk.
Hey, Jenna,
How are you?
How are you doing? I am good. Congratulations. I do have a question for you. As a woman, I see a lot of not a lot, but you know, a number of leaders actually flying abroad to different international markets, and they're kind of flying on their own. And as a woman, that's kind of scary. Do you feel that it's, you know, ideally it would be going to those markets and flying there, and, you know, face to face is much better than social media. How would you deal with that? Like, what would you do?
You know, you're usually not going to be going alone if you're part of a team, you know. So I would go with some other members of your team, just so you kind of get to go as a group, so that you're not totally alone, you know. Nigeria, Ghana's like extremely like safe actually, but just do your research before you go into the markets, you know, first and foremost. Josh had some crazy experiences in Nigeria, so that's the only market I know that's a little bit, you know, scary for some people to go into. But to be honest, people say that the US is scarier than international markets. So if you're already in the US and you've made it this far, then It's probably not as bad as you think. So I would just suggest to go with other team members so that you're not completely alone.
Thank you.
For sure. Okay, Heather, I'm gonna go ahead and allow you to talk now. All right, Heather, you have the floor. And if you guys are raising your hand, just know that means I'm gonna let you talk.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Not bad, fantastic. Now, first, congratulations. That's super exciting for a new baby to come. But my question is in regards to like time management, because I'm a mom of a special needs kid. I take care of her 24/7. I'm her primary caregiver. On top of that, I'm a leader. I know I'm a leader at my core. I'm trying to figure out how to work time management with what my responsibilities are as a mom and taking care of her needs, as well as running this business, being the leader I need to be for my affiliates to also grow my business. As well, on top of that, I'm also taking classes in school to get my certification as a health and life coach. So I have multiple things going on, and my difficulty is really trying to figure out how to balance all of that. So any suggestions as to what may be able to help figure all this out?
Yeah, so I don't know what your financial situation is, of course, but if you can have somebody help for a couple hours a day, even if it's just a small portion of the day, I think the most important thing is it's not necessarily how many hours you have to put into your business, it's what you're doing in those hours. So have a very clear plan of action of what you're going to do, so when you have the time to do it, you're knocking it out. So if you're spending time prospecting that day, then that's what you need to do 100% of that time. If you're spending time going out of the house to prospect, or maybe you're doing presentation, or you're going to an event, or you're whatever aspect of your business you're building, you have to be all in right then, and don't waste any time like scrolling on Facebook or doing whatever. It's easy to get distracted in this business, and we think we don't have as much time as we do, but a lot of times we are spending on our business is distracted time versus focused time. So my best advice to you would be to just have super focused time when you have the time. For me, my life's insane all the time because I have a baby. And I have to hire people to, I have a nanny so that she is being taken care of. Of course, earlier in my life, I didn't have the luxury to have anybody help me. So it was nighttime when everybody was asleep, and it was nap times, and it was, whether they were in school or the times that they were busy doing something else is when I had time to work my business. And even I don't advocate for this, but I know it's part of building a network marketing business. I mean, there are times when you're trying to multitask at the same time. You're trying to be all present for your children, but you're also trying to multitask at the same time. And that's almost impossible. I mean, it literally is almost impossible because you're kind of traveling down two roads at the same time. So for me, I try to make it so that when I'm with my kids or with my family, I'm 100% there. And then when I'm with my business and when I'm with my team, I'm 100% there. So I feel like I get less done when I'm trying to multitask on both fronts. I'm pissing off my kids when I'm trying to multitask doing network marketing at the same time, or if I'm staring at my phone all the time, kids are mad. And then if I'm at work and I'm constantly having to run back to my children, then I'm not all there either. So my best advice is to separate the time and to be 100% focused when you're there, and that will give you the biggest results. And as your business grows and you can hire people, it'll give you the freedom to spend more time on your business so that you can scale up from there. So that's my best advice. School is another thing. I mean, you definitely don't want to spread yourself too thin. For me, when I was a young mom and I had, my kids were younger, of course I have a baby now, my boys when they were younger and I was a student, I only could take one class at a time. It took me 8 years to get a 4-year degree in marketing because I could only take one class at a time. You don't want to put too much on your plate to where every single thing is impossible. So just know what your limit is and don't overdo it, for sure. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to shift on now to somebody else. All right, we're going to go to, let's see, Karen already. Oh, wait, Heather already did that. Okay, let's do Fritzy. All right, Fritzy Case.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing great.
Good. Okay, so my mom is with an MLM right now. She just called me the other day saying, oh my God, our company's coming out with CBD. It's on the hush. We're not telling anybody about it, but I just want you to know because you know everything about it. So she keeps inviting me to all these Zooms. And I'm nervous to like get on there and I kind of want to take everybody. Is that wrong?
No, not really. Because honestly, like, I feel like family's the worst. Like when it comes to your business, I don't know what it is, but like I have the same thing in, like I'll have family members that are like in other deals. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you need to be here with me, not like trying all this other stuff. But family makes their decisions, whatever. But if I was you, like I would go on the I would be making my list, like for sure, because 9 times out of 10 the deal is not gonna last. Like there's a lot of pop-up MLMs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's a new MLM starting all the time. Most of them don't make it past 9 to 10 months. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
It might be worth it to build the relationships, but I mean, I wouldn't be actively trying to recruit them right away because they're all going to be so hype on whatever they're doing that it's kind of waste. But it's also good to know what's out there, so that you can do a full comparison. And like, I'm so confident with HempWorks, like I'm not worried about anything that comes out.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. And, they always try to get you to, oh, come with me. It's like, no, I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. I know, one of her first things were, do you know how many companies that are not even CBD? And I say to her, yes, Mom, I do. I realize that, but you need what I'm saying, and I try and tell her that, and she's just like blocked, they get into their MLM and they don't want to hear anything else.
The reason is because you know what an expert is, right? An expert is nothing more than a stranger from out of town. And you can't be the expert because she knows you. And that's the hardest part about your warm market, is because they think they know you, so they automatically write you off. It's insane. Like you may know everything about something. You may have went to school for it, but you'll never be the expert because they have the personal relationship. But as soon as somebody else says the same thing, that person's right. So
you're absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's just not, it's not worth fighting. It's not worth fighting for it. I would go for the research aspect of it, just to gather information on, just to kind of help even build your own business. But I wouldn't worry about trying to convince anybody until they are ready, until they are like able to see it from a different perspective, until they have the respect for you as the expert in your industry and your business. It's not even worth it. Like for my whole family, I avoided all of them while I was building this business. Now, after the business is built, they all come to me and they're like, can you help me with this? Like, can you teach me this? Now I'm a genius, right? But I wasn't back then. So, but yeah, free, like I would go. I'm like curious, I would go. But I wouldn't, don't hold your breath to try to bring anybody just yet. So yeah, that's my advice.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Okay, I'm going to take one more and then we're going to be wrapping this up. Catherine, if you're there, I have chosen you.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Jen. It's so nice to meet you. So this is my question. Have you ever given away leads to your team, or are there situations where you would recommend that or not? I could go into kind of my reasoning behind that, but I want to know if it's a straight out yes or no, or in what circumstances you would or wouldn't advise.
So what I've taught my team is after you get your own personals for the month, whatever your goal is, get 10 people a month, period. Like don't ever not, that's the minimal. After 10, like 11 through 20 or whatever, give to the people on your team that also got their 10 for the month and use it as an incentive. But don't give it to people that aren't working, because that will be a waste of a recruit for sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. I guess my question is, like, everybody seems to do this at a different pace. And what I've seen is, like, if people are in this for the long haul, or there are certain people that will quit, but I have some people, I mean, I've only been doing this a year, but I have some people that really believe in this. They are working it, they are showing up to the trainings, and it just, they're still learning. And at the same point in time, like, they've, supported my business. And I feel like we get awarded by the compensation plan, but it's also consistent action ultimately leads to results. And so, like, lately I've been thinking, maybe just a way to give back and add value, and just some encouragement, because they believe in this so much. What do you think?
Yeah,
of
I mean,
that?
absolutely. If they're showing up every single day, they've got a great attitude, they're not bringing any negativity, that for me is a big one. Like, anybody complaining, 0 referrals to you.
Right.
I feel like motivated every single day and you're genuinely putting your effort into the business.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with that. For me though, that was the standard I set for my team. It was, if you want my referrals, you got to meet me halfway. You got to at least get there. So you set the standard for your team, whatever your rule is. But I would also just make sure you get your personals first, so that you're not hurting your business, by giving everything away.
That's so helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Thank you all for hopping on. Megan, thank you so much for hosting this. And of course, we'll do it again soon. You guys are all amazing, and I appreciate all the questions in the chat and all the support. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next video, on the next training. Bye, guys.
Bye.